The UN is warning of a global hunger, a food shortage, a meat shortage worldwide. But for the first time since 2014, the USDA is warning America is going to be short on meat. Folks, today's video is going to go through the USDA warnings of a food shortage coming to America in 2024 based on meat. But it's also going to talk about the Farm Bill and how different groups, different nonprofits are lobbying to move America and the world from a animal production. So let's start with, what is a plant-based food system? America and most developed countries have always been animal-based food systems, which means we use a lot of butter, milk, sour cream, cottage cheese, eggs, poultry, seafood, red meat, pork. But now what we're seeing is a push towards a plant-based food system. What does that even mean to you? What does that mean for you? Well, folks, here is the definition of a plant-based food system. Basically, we have a bunch of vegan nonprofits working with senators and lobbying to get the 2023 Farm Bill to include money for small farms, medium farms, which obviously Sam can get behind. Sustainable farming, I can get behind that too, folks. What I can't get behind is that they are encouraging corn and soy farmers, that is our traditional animal feed supplements, to move away from growing those traditional corn and soy and move to plant-based, multicultural foods. So most of you know we were demonetized for speaking truth. If you'd like to support our channel, I'm going to drop in comments at the very top pinned the different ways you could do that. Folks, we would greatly appreciate that. Love you guys. Stems from, if a bag of feed goes, right now they're sitting anywhere from $18 to $30 for one 50-pound bag. You've got cattle, that means you don't have enough space, right? So you supplement with feed, but if your feed costs go through the roof, then even doing that is going to be out of reach for so many small farms. Folks, look, here is why they want to move to a plant-based food system. Here are their reasons. The first one, look at number one closely. It saves water. It's better for the ecosystem. It's better for the land. Takes less land, less resources. Let me debunk that right there. Let me just start with number one. I did a little research. Do you know how many gallons of water it takes to grow 1 acre of mixed crops in one grow season? Anybody want to guess? 340,000 gallons is a rough estimate for traditional tillage, 1 acre of food for one season. Now, 340,000 gallons of water. Do you know how many people could eat off that 1 acre for a year? 1 to 4. 1 to 4 could meet all their dietary calories, needs, all of that on 1 acre of food. 1 to 4, that's very broad, okay? Now, how many gallons of water do you think it takes to raise one cow from birth to butcher? 13,500 gallons. Now, how many people can eat one cow for an entire year, folks? Do you know? 4 people. 4 people can meet their dietary needs from eating beef for an entire year. You need 2 acres to 1 cow to be able to graze it rotationally, where you're not damaging the soil and the cow can still graze cover crops and grass, where it's not dependent all on back feed, okay? Think about it. So I said, okay, So let me just say 340,000 gallons of water to grow 1 acre of food for a year. Well, actually just one season, all right? Like so, spring to into fall. But you still have fall to winter, so you would increase it. We'll just stick to that. 340,000 gallons. How many cattle does it take to use up that much water? 25 cattle. How many people could be fed off 25 cattle in 1 year? 135 people could be fed off 25 cattle for an entire year, folks. 132 people. Okay, now how many acres of land, just vegetables, would it take to feed 135 people? It would take right at 33.75 acres to feed 135 people, just vegetables. Would be using less water and less land to just feed people plants. That's why I did this. How many acres would it take to sustainably raise, using rotational grazing, 25 cattle? And the amount was 50 acres. But if you wanted to coop them up and form them like factory farms do, which I find cruel, feedlots. But if you wanted to, you could actually get away with 5 acres of land. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize that you cannot save water and land and ecosystems just planting gardens. And I'll tell you why. How are you going to fertilize this soil if you never allow livestock on it? How do you fertilize if you're not using manure and rotational grazing? How are you fertilizing the plants in your garden? Commercialized fertilizers, which the more and more they do studies on, they realize that commercialized fertilizers may grow food quick. They're not allowing the foods to uptake micronutrients, and they're no longer nutritionally dense, the food that you're eating, because they're using the wrong things to fertilize. That's commercial fertilizers. When you rotational graze, whether you're using chickens, sheep, rabbit, cows, goats, even horses, their hooves are helping to gently till the earth. Their feet are tilling the earth as they're walking. They're removing weed seeds, and they're pooping in the garden where you're going to be planting your food, helping the soil biodiversity and adding nutrition back without the need of toxic, expensive chemicals. There's my chickens. Right there. There's my chickens. Hey, when are you supposed to be sitting on those eggs over there? I'm going to chunk them, ladies. Anyway, my point is this. Properly handled soil needs livestock. They've done so many studies about how when you removed the bison and the cows from places like Colorado and Wyoming and Utah, the ecosystems began to crash because the cattle were walking and eating and pooping and urinating and allowing the soil to absorb more water. Properly utilized livestock is good for the soil, folks. Removing animals from the food system totally in the way that we grow food is what they've been doing for the past 70 years in big ag. Use pesticide, use machines, use tillers, use commercial fertilizers. And what we've seen is our food system crashing. Pest attacks. It takes so much water to grow food now because the soil's bare. It doesn't look like it's supposed to look. So I'm bringing this to you because I want you to understand that people are right now lobbying to change our entire food system while we all debate whether or not we like the president and all these other topics that have nothing to do with our day-to-day lives. Your food is so important. So hear me now. Be fully expecting over the next 3 to 5 years to see your feed for your animals to increase dramatically in cost. To see it be harder to find. You're going to have to get it shipped in from China and Vietnam and South America, because America's not going to grow it anymore. They're going to be growing food crops. You're going to see more fake meat. Where is all that coming from? It's coming from people like Bill Gates and Soros, who are dumping billions of dollars into the Impossible Burgers and nonsense like that. They're going to chemicalize your food system, and it's coming faster than most of us realize. So if you, like me and my family, enjoy meat on the table, you need to be working with your local ranchers and farmers that are raising cattle. Start supporting them now. Buy half a cow. Buy a whole cow. Work with them. Support what they're doing so they don't get run out of business. Because the other thing is the labeling issues. The USDA just announced that they're going to put out more restrictions on the labels. But these plant-based people want the USDA to make it even harder. They want regulations that are going to run most small farmers out of business, folks. They're doing it. It's always about regulation. That is not going to make the food system safer. Because let me explain this to you. Have you guys been seeing all the food recalls lately? You know how many regulations those big factories already have? Those companies already meet, yet they're continually having to call back food. Why? Because the food system is toxic that we use, okay? Buy local. Buy from people like Steven and I. Come get you some rabbits, because at least with rabbit meat, you can feed out your dogs on a natural diet. Stop paying vet bills. You'll have meat occasionally on your table. And who could live without eggs? I don't know about you guys, but I legitimately eat eggs like 3 times a day from my chickens. And sometimes that's all I eat all day, and yet you guys see me just go. So what you eat is equal to how productive you are. And the way they're moving America and the whole world, it is to remove the meat from us, to weaken our bodies, to put us on processed, chemicalized food from start to finish. You can't ignore the warning signs. I'm not the only person seeing them. It's all over YouTube, folks. So I love you guys. Need to get out in the garden, do a few things. I need to check on the animals. I need to go gather eggs. You know, we wait until the evenings here in Southeast Louisiana because it's hitting 100 degrees every day and it's hot. But I love you guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you're seeing the warning signs like I am. Tell me how you feel about them coming in behind your back and trying to change everything about our food system.